Hello, so as you can see, I've got Huracan Evo, Huracan Performante. My phone! So before my phone decided to drop to the ground in anyway, let's not talk about it. Huracan Performante, Huracan Evo next to each other in the same color Grigio Lynx. So I'm going to talk you through the differences from a visual standpoint and from a performance and engineering standpoint as well. This is Ish's Performante, by the way. Here's Ish. All up in your face. So starting with appearance from the front, obviously they've got different front bumpers. The Performante has Lamborghini's ALA system, which is an active aerodynamic system. Basically, it has these flaps here, and it has flaps in the spoiler that open and close to change the air pressure to increase or decrease downforce and resistance, aerodynamic resistance. So it can increase the top speed of the car and acceleration of the car, but when you need it, it can increase the downforce. Also, it can do each side independently of each other, so you can have increased downforce on the left side if you're going around a corner and you need grip on the left-hand side, or on the right hand side, and blah blah blah. Obviously on the Huracan Evo we do not have the ALA system at all, but as you can see here, there are cutouts to increase the downforce of the car. I've said in my previous video, the Lamborghini Huracan Evo generates 30 kilograms more downforce than the original Huracan, but it doesn't generate as much as the Huracan Performante, which I believe generates 300 kilograms of downforce, but I'm not entirely sure about that. But if it's wrong, I'll probably take this part of the video out. From the side profile, the cars are pretty much identical to an extent, aside from the spoilers and on the rear of the Evo. As you can see, it's got the same intakes at the side. On the Performante, instead of two slits here, it has like a mesh grille instead. Lamborghini clearly updated that. I'm not sure what for, maybe for increased air intake, but yeah, I'm not sure. I just think it might have just been a aesthetic edit. Oh, the PPF on this courtesy car is peeling, as you can see, but it's not my car, so I don't care. So the rear of the cars are actually quite similar, but the big and stark difference is clearly the wing. Again, on the Huracan Performante, the wing is active, so air channels through these vents at the rear, and then the wing can stall itself out or stall out one side at a time using these vents to increase downforce or reduce aerodynamic drag. So it's really interesting and really clever use of air. When Porsche heard about it, I remember an article saying Porsche heard what Lamborghini did and just said, why didn't we do that ourselves? But with the new GT3 RS, they're doing something quite similar, where it's playing with the air pressures to manipulate the air around the car and around the key areas of drag. So yeah, the rear wing on the Evo is a lot smaller and a lot less interesting. I really love this wing, and I think that's really cool. My neighbor's children are going wild. So the wing's a lot less interesting on here. As you can see, again, it doesn't add that much downforce, but it does actually add a little bit of downforce, but nothing compares to an actual proper wing. The engines in these cars are the exact same engine, so you have the central exit exhaust system, and that's to reduce the length of the exhaust system to increase horsepower. Both cars put out 640 horsepower and I think 600 newton meters of torque. I'll have to double check that. I just bat off random numbers, but if I say I have to double check that, that's when I'm like 90% sure. And on the Performante, there is forged carbon here. So what forged carbon is, before anyone gets confused, it's just the excess carbon fiber bits that they have when they produce the main parts of the car. So all the remaining carbon fiber, they melt it down and then they forge it into interesting shapes. So you can get a few more complicated shapes out of it. Structurally, it's no stronger than regular carbon fiber. It's actually not stronger at all. It's not lighter, it just looks nice, and it allows them to make money off of the parts they would have just thrown away. So yeah, it's an interesting way of selling us stuff, but it does look quite cool. I miss this part about my Performante. I really used to like it because it just looked really interesting. Although on here, it's just plastic, but it's very dirty, so it kind of looks the same. It's close enough. But yeah, this is just plastic on here. So yeah, both cars have 20-inch alloys. On the Evos, they come standard with Pirelli P0 tires, which are good tires, but as you can see, there is a bit of sidewall bulge. And we don't like bulge, do we? Whereas the Huracan Performante comes with P0 courses, and you have more performance-focused sidewalls instead of comfort-focused sidewalls. So the sidewalls are quite more vertical, and that means that when you're going around corners and when you're in high grip situations, there's less flex, and it makes the car more predictable to drive and more confident. And Huracan Performantes also came with a tricolore down the side, as you can see, and a little symbol that says Performante, which means performance in Italian. I think other than that, the cars are pretty much the same car. Mechanical differences, everything is the same as the Performante on the Evo, apart from the Evo has four-wheel steering as standard, whereas the Performante just has regular front steering. I'm not sure why they didn't put it in there, but I think I actually prefer it without, because when I had my Performante, it made the car feel a lot more predictable. With the rear-wheel steering, because of the short wheelbase on this car, it just feels a bit sketchy at high speed. Like I said in my other video, it makes the car feel like it's just going to do something really random when you turn the steering wheel, where this is a bit more confidence inspiring. One last thing about differences, this engine is gold, so it's painted in gold, it's not actual gold, and Lamborghini do that for their performance focused models, and this engine is just cast and powder coated as normal. So before my Ocado shopping arrives, I'm going to quickly explain something to you. So when you unlock the Evo, the door handles pop out. There's little actuators in there that fling them out. When you do that on the Performante, they do not pop out and you have to do it yourself, and they did that for weight savings. Performante interior, more performance focused. I'll go a bit more in depth in a moment, but you don't have the central display screen infotainment. Instead you have that small one up there. And then in the Evo that I've been driving is very messy, so ignore. You've got a central display screen. So the interior of the Evo is a lot more comfort based, I would say. It's not really like performance focused, and they just try and give you a few things like the essential infotainment screen that makes it just easier to use the car. You can use CarPlay on this. You can use, I need to turn the car. I just said so much just then and it wasn't recording, so I'll start again. The Evo system is a lot easier to use because it's touchscreen. You have the LDVI system as well in here, where it gives you what's going on with the car's powertrain and the steering. You can use CarPlay on here. You can do it to control the music, so media, radio. You can control everything from there. Doing the volume's a bit tricky because it's by a touchscreen, it's not by a knob. So yeah, doing the volume can be a bit finicky sometimes. So this is the interior of Ish's Performante. As you can see, instead of leather on the bolsters of the seats, he's got full Alcantara, weight-saving material. You have forged carbon parts. So this is forged carbon here, forged carbon there, and forged carbon on top. It doesn't really save weight because in the Evo it's just plastic. It's clearly just for appearance. But this looks more driver and performance focused, I would say. Still has electric seats because these are comfort seats. And like I say to everyone, if you're getting a Lamborghini, get the comfort seats or the sport seats. Never get the race seats. You will regret that. So if I jump into Ish's Performante now, as you can see, no central display, everything's analog. The good thing about the fact that you can just do everything with buttons is that you don't have to take your eyes off the road to control everything. So you can do your seat heating. I never knew you had seating in this. So you can do your seat heating, you can do your AC in here, you can do the volume of the music, and you can do general bits and bobs like changing to radio, accessing the menu of the car. However, in the Performante, everything is in front of you. So if you want to use your sat nav, it comes up in front of you. If you want to use the radio, it'll come up in front of you, because you don't have any other screens apart from this screen that just tells you oil temperature and oil pressure level and battery, I think, if that makes sense. So yeah, this screen is just an absolute waste. I don't know why they put it there, but yeah, it's there. But everything, like I said, is done up on here. So when you're connected to your phone via Bluetooth, CarPlay, whatever, it just comes up in front of you. So it allows you to be more driver focused, so you can focus on what you're doing on the road. But that means that when you're using things like CarPlay, you can no longer see your rev counter or your other information you might want. You can still see speed though, which is good. Good size glove box. I think the glove box in the Evo is bigger than this. I'll just double check that, I'm not sure. But yeah, very similar interiors, subtle differences. I think in general, I prefer this as a driver, but if you're going to drive the car often, the infotainment in the Evo is definitely better. Speed-wise, I'm not actually quite sure which one's faster. This obviously has less aerodynamic drag, I feel, but this can stall out his wing. We've run them both side by side, and I don't know, it was about even. Nothing was happening. So what we'll try and do is, are we going on a drive later? Yeah, so we're going to go on a drive. I'm going to get my 360 camera. We'll try and get side by side somewhere, and we'll just see which one pulls harder and which one wins. But I just have a feeling it's going to be pretty much identical. Again, the drag on this one, the aerodynamic drag on the Performante from the wings, can be kind of voided because it can stall them out. However, obviously there is more drag. Whereas this one, it can't stall itself out but hasn't got a wing. Yeah, I'm actually really interested to see. They both have 640 horsepower, so there's no difference there. They both weigh pretty much near enough the same. Let's see what happens. Alright, now's the time to pull out. Pull out in front of that Mini. Yeah, pull out in front of that Mini. So this Huracan Evo has a lot of lift-off oversteer, which isn't very confidence-inspiring. As soon as you take as soon as you take your foot off the accelerator, it just kind of wants to bite you, which is not a great sensation when you're driving. It just does not feel. It has the mechanical grip. The aerodynamic grip is just lacking. Like, it is not impressive at all. Yeah, so when I had the Performante, there was just so much more aerodynamic grip. Thank you very much, person. Compared to this, this just does not feel as, it just does not feel as composed as the Performante does when you're at speed. So I'll say, when we get to that M&S sign, from third, ready? Yeah. I'm pulling on you though. I pulled on you a little bit, but then it kind of we were just next to each other. So yeah, we messed up. Basically, it's like the worst day in the history of driving to ever go out because there was traffic everywhere. As you can see, Isha's gone home now. That's as good as we could do in terms of footage. My bad, you know, I shouldn't have promised anything. But yeah, this is actually faster than the Performante, which I thought might be the case because there's less aerodynamic drag. Even though the Performante has the ability to stall out its wing and kind of like virtually make it invisible, it still does have a lot more aerodynamic drag and resistance because I think all the vents and all the cooling that it needs, as well as the wing and the extended front splitter. But yeah, this car was faster. It pulls on the Performante and then they hold about level. The Performante didn't start coming back. But I don't know. We need to try it over a long distance. I'm going to try and find a day where I can get on a road about a mile straight and just see which one's faster, or we'll take it to an airstrip or something. But yeah, this car is really fast. I'd still rather have the Performante. If you'd rather have the Evo, let me know. If you'd rather have the Performante, let me know in the comments below. Please remember to like and subscribe. I'm doing that YouTuber thing now, and I'll continue to upload videos more often. Again, apologies if this video seems very like amateur and rushed. It's not the case. People keep saying they want to see just natural stuff, so I'm just trying to keep it as natural as possible. Minimal editing and minimal like scripting, if that makes sense. But yeah, have a good day, and yeah, see you later. Almost forgot one last thing. I did launch control on this car about 12 times today. Clutch was absolutely fine, car was absolutely fine. That's what you have to say about dual clutch gearboxes, man. They'll take a battering. If I did that in my SVJ, I would be in tears right now. But yeah, see you later.